Welcome to today's Brand Origin Deep Dive, where we pull back the curtain on the untold stories behind the logos and products you know. You've heard of the digital security platform, the one that promises to keep your most private information safe behind unbreakable locks. But do you know how its true origins might lie not in a gleaming minimalist lab, but in a dusty, forgotten archive room hinted at by a crude sketch from 1982. It's like finding a floppy disk in a data center, a relic hinting at secrets the polished facade keeps hidden. If you find value in this kind of storytelling, consider liking the video and subscribing. It helps more than you know. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? Or what's your initial thought about a brand's biggest secrets being buried? Let's dive in and discover how it all began. You step past the velvet rope here, the air thick with the smell of ozone and aged paper. Fluorescent lights hum, casting long, trembling shadows across rows of unmarked boxes and dust-laden servers. This isn't the gleaming, minimalist world you see in advertisements. This is a hidden space, a corporate subconscious where forgotten projects reside. You're following a whisper, a faint signal from a buried history, the story of a brand that built digital walls, then had to defend them against threats no one foresaw. It starts not with a sleek product launch, but with something far more mundane, a forgotten sketch, taped to the inside of a drawer unit, labeled Project Nightingale, 1982. It's a crude drawing of a digital lock interface, overlaid with hesitant, crossed-out lines like an early blueprint for a vault door. This artifact represents the major historical milestone here, arguably the very first tremor of their eventual focus on privacy, though hidden away. Brand historians still debate whether this early sketch represented a genuine attempt at robust digital security or merely a fleeting, discarded idea from a vastly different project. Is this quirky, lesser-known detail a secret, a failed idea, or the very first concept of a conflict that would one day shake the world? As you stand there, curiosity about the dusty past gives way to a sense of unease about corporate secrets buried deep. Building on what came before, you now trace the lines of early memos and internal design documents, pulling them from the digital dust of the late 80s and early 90s. You're not just looking for technical specifications, but the roots of a philosophy that would one day define a company's core identity. This era is the nascent stage of Apple's approach to user data and privacy, long before it became a mainstream marketing point. Inside the beige boxes and monochrome screens, you witness internal debates, voices advocating for an open computing ideal, where users could tinker and access everything freely, clashing with a more controlled, integrated vision emerging from the hardware and software teams. It's here you find a specific early product decision, the fundamental, albeit initially simplistic, permission structure within System OS, which inherently limited how applications and users could interact with certain system files compared to the wide-open world of contemporary operating systems. This wasn't a foolproof shield, mind you. It was more like a slightly locked cupboard door in a house with open windows. You feel the rough texture of old Macintosh plastic, hear the chirpy negotiation of a dial-up modem connecting, and see the structured, almost austere visual clarity of early interfaces start to diverge from the visual clutter elsewhere. The emotional shift is witnessing this tentative, sometimes contradictory birth of a core value. A hint that user protection wasn't just a feature, but an inclination. Brand historians still debate whether this early control was a deliberate privacy choice or merely a byproduct of design constraints, but it laid crucial groundwork. Subtle mentions in these documents, perhaps discussing the novel threat of digital viruses or the growing need for password protection as shared office computers became common, serve as early foreshadowing of increasing governmental interest in digital communications and looming data vulnerabilities. Building on what came before, where principles were forged in firewalls and closed systems, you now step into the late 2000s and early 2010s. The world is fitting into pockets, buzzing with constant connection. The sleek, cool glass of smartphones is everywhere, a portal to an explosion of personal data. Photos, messages, locations, all flowing like rivers. Internally, the debate rages. How do those foundational security principles scale to this? It feels like trying to secure a city with locks designed for a single cabin. This era sees the first real cracks. External pressures mount, not just from competitors, but from crises. You witness the internal scramble after user data is unexpectedly exposed during a minor server migration. Not a major breach, but a chilling wake-up call. Then come the escalating requests for data access from various agencies, forcing uncomfortable internal discussions about user trust versus legal compliance. The air in the meeting rooms feels sterile, charged with unspoken tension. A major turning point arrives with the controversial decision to sunset the beloved ShareSphere peer-to-peer file sync service. Analysts continue to question the reasoning behind discontinuing ShareSphere, arguing that a hardened version could have served power users, but the security team deemed the underlying architecture an unmanageable risk in this new data landscape. The emotional shift within the company is palpable. The easy confidence of the early days is replaced by a defensive posture and public confusion. As you look at security vulnerability reports flashing on screens, a strange visual glitch sometimes appears, a faint, recurring pattern that looks unsettlingly like the forgotten sketch motif, a digital ghost of past unresolved tensions resurfacing in the present. This period feels like navigating a minefield, each step potentially triggering a crisis. Building on the global impact and user trust established comes a moment of ultimate friction. The irresistible ask arrives, stark and undeniable. The San Bernardino iPhone case. You're thrust onto a digital and legal battlefield, the air thick with the scent of polished wood and abstract dread. The locked iPhone isn't just a device. It becomes a potent symbol, the very core of the clash between individual privacy and national security. Inside the company, the pressure is immense. Hushed boardrooms buzz with legal strategies. Ethical arguments swirl like confused ghosts. The sterile tension feels palpable, a digital drama playing out in the physical world. Code, this beautiful, abstract language of creation, is now discussed in stark, almost violent terms. How to break it, how to build a vulnerability. Millions of eyes watch, judging every move. The emotional shift is profound. This isn't just a PR challenge. It's a fundamental crisis where the brand's identity is tested at its deepest level. The recurring motif surfaces here, that forgotten sketch symbolizing the ultimate vault they've built, and the terrifying request to craft a key for someone else. Analysts continue to question the long-term implications of this standoff, debating whether the legal fight was worth the potential political cost. A fictionalized internal memo summary debated the technical ask, feasibility, high effort, low technical risk once tool created, implications, catastrophic precedent, Guaranteed future demands. Irreparable trust damage. Recommendation: resist. This wasn't just about one phone. It was about the digital integrity of billions. A digital thermopylae. As explored in the previous phase, the public firestorm eventually fades, leaving behind a strained silence. You witness the immediate aftermath of the San Bernardino case inside the company walls. The bustling energy of innovation is momentarily replaced by a weary resilience, a feeling of increased scrutiny that permeates every digital corridor. Server rooms, once hives of activity, now feel heavy with the weight of the recent conflict. This moment becomes a major historical turning point, not just a legal battle won, but an internal reset button pressed by necessity. The clash forced a deep introspection into Apple's core digital defenses. Encryption standards, previously considered robust, are reevaluated and significantly hardened. Security teams undergo a reshuffling, consolidating power and resources. It's a period of rapid, almost reactive evolution. Brand historians still debate whether this hastened evolution was a necessary crucible or an overcorrection born of pressure. A quirky, lesser-known detail from this era: some internal teams, reportedly nicknamed the new ultra-secure data transfer protocols, Fort Knox 2.0, a nod to the lengths taken to lock things down. The recurring motif subtly reappears, perhaps etched into the complex, abstract architecture of the newly updated digital defenses. A constant, quiet reminder of the battle. The brand core element shifts from proactive innovation to a necessary fortification. A significant update to their privacy policy and security framework is launched, framed not as a breakthrough, but as an essential shield built from conflict. This hardened stance signals an emotional shift within the company. Foreshadowing for the future is clear. The privacy versus security debate hasn't ended. It's merely shifting to new digital frontiers, like the burgeoning world of AI and connected devices, where this conflict will inevitably rise again. You step back from the archive, the dust settling behind you. The story of the locked phone isn't just about one device or one case. It's a microcosm of a defining struggle in the digital age, the battle for control over our digital selves. Apple, often seen as a gatekeeper, found itself caught between its users' expectations of sanctuary and the state's demands for access. The forgotten sketch, that early dream or fear of a digital lock, evolved into a symbol of this enduring tension. Brand historians still debate the ultimate effectiveness of this public standoff. Did the fight truly protect user privacy, or merely shift the battlefield? Did it harden digital defenses across the industry, or simply provoke new, more insidious methods of intrusion behind the scenes? The legacy is complex, etched not just in court records, but in the very architecture of the devices you hold, the data you generate, the trust you place in the glass and metal in your pocket. It was a stark reminder that even the most polished technology could be vulnerable, pushing conversations about backdoors and encryption into mainstream awareness like never before. The hum of the archive fades, but the questions linger, echoing in servers and codebases worldwide. Are you truly secure behind these digital walls built with such intention? Or are they just waiting for the right key, the right court order, the right exploit? The lock remains, perhaps less visible now, but its shadow stretches long across the digital landscape, a quiet, constant reminder of the price of privacy and the secrets buried within the code, waiting to be unlocked. And so, we reach the end of this journey through the brand's past, its moments of brilliance and its unexpected stumbles. As we wind down, what lingers isn't just a timeline of products or profits, but a richer understanding of how a company, like any living entity, adapts, fails, and reinvents itself under pressure. The key takeaway? Resilience is often forged in crisis. The cultural symbolism of this brand has shifted over decades, from underdog rebel to polished icon, each phase leaving its mark on how we interact with technology and, perhaps, with each other. We've seen that even the smallest internal decision or the most public legal battle can ripple outward, shaping global conversations about design, security, and identity in the digital age. The lessons learned here extend beyond pixels and processors. They speak to the power of narrative, the weight of corporate responsibility, and the unpredictable dance between innovation and regulation. It's a story that continues to unfold, reminding us that the past isn't just history, it's the blueprint for the future. And maybe, just maybe, the soul of a brand is never in its product, but in the people, stories, and stumbles that shape it.